You know what's interesting about Shane Steichen is after a win and after a loss, I can't tell the difference in his behavior on the weekly Zoom calls on a Monday. Interesting. He is, and this is what players will tell you, he is very, very consistent in his behavior. And I can echo that because as you see week after week after week, he's just the same guy. After a win, after a loss, same guy. Maybe it's different at home. Maybe it's different in the locker room. Maybe it's different in team meetings. But he's the same guy with the media. The first question that he's asked today after that win against the New York Jets and looking ahead to the challenge of playing a one-loss Detroit Lions team this coming weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium, he's asked about that play during the game, and it was a pretty important play where Josh Downs and a backer in the backfield, and Anthony Richardson is between them. And he comes screaming down the sidelines, and he's telling the guys to flip. He's asked what he saw that made him make that change.
It was a designed. We were hopping those guys in the backfield regardless, but it looked like a mass shift from everybody, which was fun to watch. Uh, and it was great. It was just a little option route out of the backfield, and they had a little spy linebacker in there with eyes on Anthony. And Downs, broke inside, and there's a nice tight window, and Anthony made a hell of a throw. Downs made a hell of a catch, so it was a hell of a play.
Also, in as much, I guess, optimism as you and everyone has to have after the way that Anthony and everyone played yesterday, isn't it about, you've talked last week about consistency. Is that like the next step, if there's a next step in this, to, not necessarily do it again, but do something like that again and grow?
Yeah, 100%. I think consistency is a huge part of anyone's growth, a team's growth. I think when you win games like that, obviously, I think momentum's real, and we got to carry it into this week. I thought our guys had a hell of a week of preparation. The whole team. I thought our energy level was at an all-time high during the game, even when things didn't go our way there to start the second half. Guys kept fighting and believing, and I think that showed the resilience, like I've talked about with this football team all year. That the guys believe in each other. And obviously you go fight for 60 minutes and see what happens. And to come out on top there at the end was huge.
Thanks, Coach.
JJ?
Shane, what did you see from Anthony in operating from the pocket on some of those intermediate throws over the middle that he had quite a bit of success on yesterday?
Yeah, I think he had great composure back there. I think the line did a great job protecting for him there. The one he hit to Pitt was huge over the middle to get that drive going there. It was awesome. He kind of, used his eyes a little bit with the linebacker to get him pushing right, and then was able to bang it, in that little window there, which was huge. And I thought he did a really good job just managing everything, being smart with the football in certain situations, taking the completions when they were there. Obviously 20 of 30 was huge, 66%. Again, it was a hell of a job by him and the rest of our guys.
Did you see him have really good touch and feel and maybe layering some of those throws over the middle too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a couple of those deep shots that he hit to Pierce, when you're throwing crossers versus man-to-man, you got to throw those things firm. You know what I mean? And he did a great job doing that, layering those balls to Alec, which were huge, on those chunk plays there for us.
James?
Shane, how do you think you all as an offense just operated and kind of helped Anthony get in a rhythm? It looked like he said he was relaxed. And then Mo Ali Cox was saying he could see Anthony gaining confidence from moving the ball, whether it was running, leaning to the run, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think overall it was good. We started off running the ball there early, like we talked about. And he was complaining. I think, like we said earlier after the press conference the other day, he was 7-9 there. For about 100 yards, getting some nice completions. And I think, running him a little bit gets him going as well, along with the rest of our football team. So we got to continue that momentum going forward.
One quick follow-up. How important is it to stay committed to the run? I know JT got stonewalled a couple times, but just to give defenses that threat of the run, how big was that to just kind of keep it balanced there, even in the second half a little bit?
Yeah, it's huge. You don't want to ever get away from the run game. You know what I mean? Obviously, sometimes if you're down and you got to throw it, it's part of the game. But to not completely get away from it and have those options with JT there and Anthony in the second half were big. But I thought our guys, like we talked about, adjusting and throwing the football there in the second half when we needed to throw it and make a play was huge by our team.
Dominic?
Yeah, Shane, just sustaining drives primarily on some critical third downs. Is that something Anthony can build off of? And just how critical is that in his progression as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's big. We talked about it earlier, Dom. I mean, it's just being efficient on, early downs is big. We got ourselves, in some second and long situations there backed up, and then it became third and long. And obviously you don't want to do anything crazy back there. So hand the ball off and threw a screen back there that we had to dirt. And that happens sometimes. But I think, if we can get into those third and medium situations and converting those things to keep the chains going will be big for us.
Nate,
Yeah, Shane, just broadly, when you watch the game back, what did you feel like was the biggest difference for Anthony as a passer? Just you've been watching every single game he's had, and to see him go 20 of 30 felt like something new, like growth. So what was the biggest difference to you?
Yeah, he said you guys just to, being more relaxed. I think just when you watch him in the pocket, I had a chance to watch it with him, this morning, just me and him, and just some of those crossing routes he threw, very calm, target line, in the pocket, wasn't sped up, just played very comfortable in the pocket all game. And obviously he had to make some plays when he had to make some plays, but he threw the ball very accurately. So it was impressive to see. So we got to keep that going.
Kevin,
Shane, I feel like quarterbacks oftentimes you just get graded a little bit more in that fourth quarter. I mean, down 8, down 5, those 2 touchdown drives. He's been in some of those moments, but this seemed different. Did it seem different to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's shown that. He did it against the Rams last year. We were down, 23 or whatever, but just the confidence that he had going out there and putting that drive together. I don't think there was any doubt, like I said, the whole game on the sidelines. And when we had that opportunity with, what we had left on the clock and the 3 timeouts, I think, and you get that chunk play on the second play, to Pierce. I think that momentum is huge, to catch that coverage that we caught, to hit that play and then come back and hit another one that downs over the middle. The guys fed off that, and then to finish the drive with the ball in his hands for the touchdown was huge for his confidence, our whole team's confidence, which was great.
And then they showed JT getting taped up. Everything okay ankle wise with him?
Yeah.
Joel,
Shane, what did you see from Pitt yesterday when you went back and looked at tape?
Toughness. I mean, I think he had what 5 for 45 or something. You know what I mean? But had some big time catches. The one over the middle was big. But again, he keeps showing up for his team. Ultimate team player. Like we said, I mean, I can't say enough about his toughness. You guys heard me say that. And what he goes through every week to get ready to play. It's just phenomenal.
George,
Shane, kind of piggybacking off of Kevin there, not just it being the fourth quarter, but also being on the road and in that kind of environment. Does that increase the difficulty for a young quarterback in these situations?
Yeah, 100%. Anytime you go on the road, I think that's one of the hardest things in this business is to go on the road and win football games, but to win it on a 2-minute drive on the road with the noise and everything that's going on and keeping your composure in those situations and understanding the situation for a young player to go do that. Like I said, builds confidence in him, builds confidence in our whole football team moving forward for sure.
couple more here. We'll go JJ.
Shane, I think I probably know the answer to this, but how much more of your call sheet is open to you on 2nd and 10 versus like 2nd and 25, where Anthony didn't take that sack where Oliver had the blitz?
Yeah, there's a lot more open on 2nd and 10. If you guys got some 2nd and 25 calls, let me know. Anybody out there, we'll try to put them in.
And we'll do our last 2. We'll do Jake and then James.
Yeah, you mentioned you and Anthony watched the game together this morning. Is that something you guys had done previously on Victory Mondays, like specifically?
Well, this is our first one since December. Once we get in November, December, so we got our first one. So it was good to have that opportunity to do that with him today.
And then a follow up when in those situations where it's just you, what's the reaction when you see the play like where he's being lifted up off the ground, but he still gets the first down completion to Josh?
Yeah, that was a big time play. We had a little option route there, and for him to make that throw just shows his natural born, for abilities to make plays like that, thrown off platform with all arm there with the guy dragging down on him. It's impressive when you can do stuff like that.
And then last question, James.
Shane, at the end of the game, did you think you went a little too fast at all? I know there's like a balance there, it's trying to score, but what's going through your mind?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Obviously, you want to have the last possession for sure. And that was definitely going through my mind there. And when we hit that ball to downs, felt really good about that on the ball call. Now, we only got 2 yards. But again, I didn't want to waste anything plays that I thought were going to help us score down there. And obviously there's a fine balance there. Trust me, I understand that for sure. And it could have came back to bite us, but it was good. Obviously we huddled up on the next one and then were able to score there with, whatever it was, 40 seconds left and not give, Rodgers too much time there.
Thank God for Kwity Paye, because I was like, this is the Rodgers thing. This is what he does. So
there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
That's Shane Steichen. Interesting to hear Steichen talk about this kind of new tradition that he's got with Anthony Richardson, where on a Monday morning they sit down and watch a previous game. What they found, and I think it's great for this reason. I think it's great for those two guys to share with each other a little bit what they saw. Steichen to reaffirm with Anthony Richardson what he saw and how he reacted to it. I think it's also really important for Steichen to hear what kind of comfort Richardson has given different formations, given different schematics, understanding the way he looks at defenses, understanding the coverage, blitzes, that kind of thing. So this coming week, he knows a little bit better, has a little bit better handle on what Anthony Richardson likes to do, what he doesn't like to do, what he's comfortable doing, what he sees and can process, so that Steichen can try to put him in the best position to succeed himself. I think that's interesting. I think it's good leadership.